Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we've got a commentary for you. So in my last video I mentioned maybe some things I'm going to be doing for the future, some video ideas, some series I might be doing, and this is one of them I think I'm going to do. It's not going to be an everyday thing, maybe once or twice a week, just when I get some good dungeons done, ones that I'm happy with or I think are good, or are maybe a little bit, I don't know what you want to call it, not memorable, milestones. So this is our first plus 10 of the season, first attempt at one. This is week one. It's Friday. Throughout the week, we were just kind of building up some keys because, you know, we're just playing after work. We know we're not those super gamers that can play all day every day. I wish we would have had 10s done by that point already. But it's on Friday of the first, not first reset, first week of the season. We ended up with an Ara-Kara as our first 10. Going into it, I'm playing Prot Paladin. It's going to be my main this season. I believe I mentioned that in the last video. We've got a Havoc Demon Hunter, Frost Death Knight, and a Fury Warrior. Just for people who wonder, I'm playing Lightsmith Prot Paladin. We've got a Felsguard Havoc Demon Hunter, Deathbringer, or no, not Deathbringer, Rider, two-handed Frost Death Knight, and then Mountain Thane Fury Warrior with the Resto Shaman, playing, I believe, Farseer. So this wasn't like a super play. I mean, I don't even think our Shaman, we'll talk about it in a second. This is the first key that Caddy Bree has healed this season, I'm pretty sure. My dad, it's actually my dad, is a Resto Druid healer. He is going to be healing most of the keys you'll see on this, but we've got different roles we're flipping around. So this is my group, my static, call it a static. It's me and my friends. This isn't a pug at all, so I'll go ahead and get this started. I will flash my talents and gear, and go ahead and pause the video when we do that, just to show you we are rocking. It's all kind of grayed out, but basically we're at 690 item level. I'm built for like pretty big haste crit right now. I got a lot of haste. You know, I've got my Reshi Wrap's cloak on, the belt from last season, the Delver's belt, and then we were so lucky as to get an astral antenna out of the time walking cache this week. So I've got a champion track astral antenna. I'll be wearing that for quite some time, as it is a very good trinket. Other than that, we've just got a few other pieces that we picked up. I think I got a ring, we have some bracers. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too unachievable by pretty much anybody here. And I think we're all about in the same neighborhood, around 688 to 691. I'll go ahead and flash my talents here before we start the key. I was kind of panicking. I was like, oh, I forgot to show up. But here you can see we're playing Lightsmith. Over here on the Paladin tree, it's all kind of normal stuff. Honestly, biggest thing for this dungeon is make sure you bring your Poison Dispel. It can come in use handy. I always run 1 minute sack. Bop is good for this first pull. It could be good for some other things too. One of the ones that I should have flipped over is I should have moved this talent right here over to here, which turns your Blessing of Sacrifice into a Poison and Disease Dispel as well. So you can use that to also remove them in this dungeon. But I didn't. As far as spec talents, it's a pretty general build. You'll see some people running Eye of Tyr, Bastion of Light? Bastion, is that what it's? I never talk about this ability. I don't even know its name. I think it's Bastion of Light. So, typically you'll have like 2 flex points on Prot Paladin. I've opted to put them into this talent right here. I think it's Inspiring Vanguard. I need to learn all the names of the talents on Prot Paladin. They're also similar. It's hard to remember. But this one, it's going to give us extra resets on our Avenger Shield. And then I'm running Moment of Glory. And if you can put those two together, basically I'm running a lot of Avenger Shields. So I can get a lot of the stops and interrupts. And you'll see that in this dungeon. Because when you're still progressing keys, you're not like super coordinated, haven't done the keys a bunch. It's awesome to just have all of those kicks at your disposal. So that is what we are doing. First pull is going to be the kind of standard first pull from the first season. We're going to be running all the way down to the first boss. So as a tank, I'd say stay mounted through these first couple of crawlers. Make sure you walk through them. and get their aggro, and then right as you get to these crawlers, go ahead and hop off your mount and start hitting things. I'm leaving blessed hammers behind and just trying to snag aggro on all of these guys, and I'm going to start, as you saw there, with a Avenger Shield on this attendant to kick him. I'm setting my focus onto the mini-boss because I'm going to want to make sure I'm kicking him, and then our Death Knight is going to work on getting these attendants in. So you can see we get everyone in. Very dangerous on pull here. Everyone's slamming defensives because, you know, healer just had to move. It looks like he's dropped a healing cooldown, and now we are in the motions. I'm going to be kicking these attendants and the mini-boss as much as possible. So what you'll see me do a lot is I will use Divine Toll. So I always have a focus set, typically, in a pull. He'll use Divine Toll, and I will target the thing that's not my focus target, so that the resonance ticks can be kicking, like, say, this attendant, and then I can be using my shields, because I have a macro, to throw shields as well as kick on my focus, and I will use those to kick my focus target. But you can see here, everyone's got bleeds and poisons. We're going down. Some casts are going off intermittently, but nothing is too... As long as, like, all three aren't going off every time, at least at this key level, it should be fine. As you get higher, it's going to get worse. We've run into a problem, and I don't know, because we must have broke this egg. We got a lot of webs right here in melee, and you can see one of our teammates actually goes down to, I think, standing in the webs. Which nobody likes that. Because it just feels bad as melee. You can't stand in there. I think because we're talking about it, I think we end up finding there is a spot in there. But we're going to lose 2 in this first pull. It's bad. This is probably our worst pull of this whole dungeon. Because it goes a little wrong. But it's not catastrophic failure. 2 deaths in this pull. It's just going to elongate it a bit. You know, we did lose somebody during their cooldowns. So this dude's going to stay up, but the hard part of the pull is gone. So we don't have triple casters anymore. It's just this mini-boss. We're going to work him down. Just seems like a bit of a time sink, but oh well. There you go. So once we get that down, now we're on to this big crawler pull. So this has been changed. In Season 1, all these crawlers would explode. Oh, and I stepped on an egg there. They would, like, as they were getting close to death, like, start exploding. They don't do that anymore. So you can kind of just pull them all and cut them down. They are going to be putting these poisons out on your party, but, you know, I've got a poison dispel, and we have a generally tanky party. Our shaman should have brought poison cleansing totem, but he just completely forgot. So he doesn't even have that. Affix coming up. I mean, if you're watching this video, you probably know about the affixes. That one spawns a bunch of orbs on the ground that you just need to use some sort of AoE stun or interrupt or whatever on them to shatter them, so you get your good little buff. What I'm doing here is I'm watching my cell over there, my nameplates, and I'm looking for double stacks. So you can see my Demon Hunter just got a double stack of the poison there. I'm going to sack my Death Knight, which is like kind of a no-no because, well, they don't need it. They're tanky. But yeah, just looking for doubles to use my Dispel on. We're going to pull in here with these last 2 crawlers into this mini-boss. This mini-boss is... I mean, it's got a kick rotation, but with Prot Paladin, you'll notice you don't need to worry about that. I can just get every kick myself, so everybody just needs to play defensively during these calls of the Brood. We went ahead and sent Darkness on that one, which I think it was pretty... seemed like a pretty good Darkness, a lot of procs on it. But yeah, we're just going to keep working through here. Keep kicking it. That's my job as Prot Paladin. I'm the kicker. Anytime there's a cast, I'm looking at it. And you can watch my cursor. I've got it circled with a weak aura there. You'll see I'm always like in pulls with multiple casters. I'm always like hovering them just to try and like get a target on them and kick them. In this one, it's just one, so it's very easy. Just have that be my main target and keep throwing shields. So that goes down pretty easily. This next pull, another one, pretty chill pull here. We've got 2 casters, but this one, this Attic, this mini boss, he only casts on me, and the cast is like not a big deal. So you see, I put my focus on the attendant because that one's going to be casting on my teammates, and I really don't want that to go off. So I'll be throwing all my shields and interrupts into him. And if you're using this as a guide either for the dungeon or Prot Paladin, I will say that as Prot Paladin, you most definitely want to be kicking as many things as possible with both your shield or... sorry about that. It's early in the morning. I've got coffee. I'm going to take a sip. And by earlier in the morning, I mean just the time at which I woke up. I do wake up early for work now. I'm not the 4 a.m. stay up late guy anymore, but I woke up at like 10 today. But yes, as Prot Paladin, you want to be kicking as many casts as possible with either your Rebuke or your Avenger Shield or Divine Toll, because every time you interrupt an ability, you let out a free Blessed Hammer, which also gives you Holy Power. So it's going to be converting into more damage, because the Blessed Hammer, Holy Power, is going to give you more Shield of the Righteous, which is also more damage, which is also more defense, and it's just super good stuff. So just make sure you're on top of that. I know a lot of people will, you know, they'll use their kicks and their stops and stuff, but like it really helps your damage output. And you can see in some of these big pulls with a couple casters, I do kind of pop off and do quite a bit of damage. So it's always a good thing to look forward. That probably helps because I do have a pretty awesome crit trinket from the new raid. We're gonna pull these little crawlers and flyers onto the boss. They're not a big deal. It's just gonna be a little extra percent for kind of nothing here. This boss, so ideally we'd be a little closer, but this is a fine distance. You want to pull him when he does his alerting shrill up close to these, but then make sure nobody is standing in this red hitbox around the boss. So as these crawlers spawn, they're going to walk towards, they're going to fixate on people, and they're going to walk towards us. If the boss touches them with this red circle, or sometimes maybe in a little outside of it, it's kind of a weird hitbox, just don't let it get too close. He'll absorb them, get a big damage amp, kill everybody. So just don't let him eat them. But you see, we have an awesome cleave group here with our DPS loadout, and these crawlers are just going to get obliterated. I mean, Fury Warriors going in there and just doing the perfect 4-target cleave on all of them. Demon Hunter, I think, can basically line up every I-beam with it, and then Frost Death Knight's just, you know, Frost Scything it. Here you want to stack up and just kind of move around the boss. We didn't do a super good job of baiting that time, but we don't really need to do a super good job of baiting. See, I swing around here, go to the next set of eggs, and I'm just going to kind of plant. Do my thing, keep slapping. Prot Paladin has awesome group defensives, and you can just keep an eye on your party. If somebody doesn't have a defensive for that alerting shrill, you can use a sack. That's something I'll look at in a hierarchy level. So this is a 10, which, you know, for week 1's pretty high, but it's still not super dangerous for survivability a lot of the time. And my group, I think, generally uses their defensives enough that, like, it's not required that I use my Blessing of Sacrifice or Spell Warding or anything on these pulls. I just kind of use it, not willy-nilly, just when I think somebody's in danger. But I can't explain, I guess, how I do that. I just have a sense, a danger sense when I think people are in danger, and I'll use it. But or if somebody calls it out. So that's what I was going to get for. And hierarchies, people can call it out, and I can use my Blessing of Sacrifice to take some of their damage for them. But other than that, we're kind of just doing our dance. If anybody wants access to, or, you know, my UI, I have it laid out. I like, oh yeah, we lose our warrior there. He just wasn't thinking and just didn't move when we were doing the thing. He was too focused on the damage. But yeah, any elements of my UI, if anybody wants them, I don't have the craziest like special AI ever, but I can give you links to them. It's all pretty general stuff. Yeah, there's that. But this boss is going to be down 22%. Probably one more set of eggs, I think. As Paladin, we don't have the greatest AoE stops. We really just have our Blinding Light. So I just use that as much as I can on these affixes, but really it's it's like the Warrior and the Shaman doing a lot of it with their Thunderstorm and Shockwave abilities. And then Demon Hunter and Death Knight also have, you know, Blinding Sleet and They're Chaos Novas, they can do it as well. It looks like we're just going to ignore these crawlers and kill the boss. A pretty smooth performance on that boss, and I would say overall pretty chill. So now we get to go onto this bridge area. A couple changes up here, if you played from Season 1. If not, and then it's all new. So these assistants right here are going to hit the tank pretty hard. The Web Mage is just a caster like from before, and then you have this Blood Guard. So the Blood Guard, he applies a 50% damage reduction to all people around him. So he's definitely the main target you want to take out in this pull. He also does this Locust Swarm, which is just going to do an AoE. Hits everybody, does damage. We'll have to see. I haven't done any higher key levels. I don't know if that's going to be something that's like scary, like big danger, or if it's kind of just chill. Because here it's pretty chill, but like I said, it's a 10. We're not really up there in the key levels yet. So yeah, just put your focus on this Web Mage. You know, if you have a Prot Paladin, you can just kind of have them take care of it. If you don't have a Prot Paladin, just be cycling through your party members. You can use stuns and stuff. The Revolting Volley, which is kind of their bigger cast. Before, most people would just kind of like let it go off or kind of juggle it and just keep it going without actually kicking it, because it's a longer cast than the normal Web Bolt, so you could just kind of game it a bit to like make him just stand there and cast it, then like stop it at the last second. We figured out, so this one, they changed it. Now you can't heal through it like you used to be able to before. It would apply like a healing absorb, and if you healed it off, it would just like remove the dot. So there's no healing absorb now, it's just a dot. So we'll have to see in some higher key levels what that means for your healer. If it doesn't hit that hard, maybe you can still try to game it, but if it hits hard, maybe just get a kick on it. Like a normal cast. Affix with this. So I don't remember this Blood Guard. So there's usually one of the big beetles, right? He's pathed all the way up there, and I think I should have grabbed him in the last pull, but we're just kind of splitting it up. So we're like, man, where's this dude at? So we're just pulling. We'll get him into this one. So the only other enemy in this area are these stag shells. So they start casting this Alarm Shrill, and it's a pretty long cast. And you're gonna have to use a stun, you know, Death Knight Grip, like anything that's not just a normal interrupt. So yeah, stun, disorient, knock up, all those things will work. Before his cast goes off, you know, kind of have to juggle him, because if his cast goes off, oh yeah, perfect example right here. This is why Death Knight's so awesome. And you know, people, there's a big debate on like, oh, that Grip is not a raid buff. Grip is definitely a raid buff. I know it does suck that they lost Abomination Limb. RIP Abomination Limb, but dude, Grip is so awesome to have in so many dungeons. So we pulled this. I was gonna pull this Blood Guard, and it kind of leashed onto these extra guys. So you know, we kind of crash on it. The Stag Shell, he's sitting out here. And our Death Knight just grips him in, and it's so nice. But I was gonna say, the Stag Shell, if it goes off, it'll alert all the other Stag Shells. There's like a line of them that goes down, and they'll all spawn these Blood Guards, like extra ones. So do not let that go off. As Paladin, we have an awesome single target stun, which is like long duration, 6 second. I think it's the second longest in game. Kidney Shot from Rogue is the longest. But yeah, you can see we're also coordinating. We're talking like, I got next to you or whatever. See, I called there. It's like, I'll blind next. And then I can't remember who calls it on this one. Somebody gets it. Yep, that was a shockwave from our warrior. I see. I got a little flustered. Not flustered. Just we've let a cast or two go off here, and letting that cast off there during the Locust Swarm is bad. Our Demon Hunter almost died, but I gotta lay on hands on him. So that's my bad. We didn't let these casts go off. You might look over here at my interrupt track and be like, your friends are kicking. It's like, well, I kind of told him if there's only one caster to basically let me take care of it. So kind of on me. As a Paladin with the single caster, I should be able to get all the casts. So we're going to pull in here. I'm waiting for the patrol to get closer so I can get them all in. And on pull here, I think I just rip a Divine Toll. Yep. Divine Toll is like the best way to get aggro on everything. So I'm going to go in, I have my focus set, and then I'm targeting this other mage. So I'm going to use my, oh, see, I let that revolting volley go off, and this is where we realized, like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't let that go off, because it kind of hurts pretty bad. But you see, I've got my resonance from my divine toll hitting this guy, and then I'm focused on this little, my focus marker is orange circle, which we like to call nipple. It's like nipple. Or shield, I guess you could call it. Yep, just working our way down. And then you can see, my friends know, hey, as things get a little late in their cast, they'll start throwing their interrupts there. We see you got the Demon Hunter and Death Knight throwing out interrupts there. We're not going to take the Stag Shell. We're going to kill these guys and move past them. Probably could have chained them. But we're not, like, super against the timer here. We're just kind of playing it safe. We just want to get our 10 in for the week so we can get Myth Track in the vault. And this was our first one, so. As we do more, we'll start pulling a little more aggressively. So something funny happens here. Yeah, it just happened. Our Death Knight went to grip in this far one at the exact same time. Our Shaman used his Thunderstorm? The knockup. He used his knockup. And it, like, negated the grip. So we were laughing about that, like, how he was trolling us. Go down, fight this Blood Guard. There is a way you can skip around this dude, but you actually kind of need more percent in this dungeon, so it might be an thing where maybe we pull this onto the boss at some point, or people will, I don't know. Although the Locust Swarm here is it kind of hurts. I don't know if you'd want that during the boss fight. Also, we've noticed these blood workers, the little extra guys, they have like way more health now. They used to get blown up in like 2 seconds, and then we'd just be basically fighting a blood guard. But you'll notice as we get through here, and we have pretty good priority damage in this this comp we have. Priority damage being like, so when you're fighting a group of mobs, like say there's 6 of them, priority damage is how much damage you can do to one of those 6, while also hitting all 6. Like kind of the focus target. Like, hey, this is the big enemy. We want to be doing more damage to him than the others. This comp we have here, they all do by proxy of being melees, and that's kind of a thing you'll notice in this game. Most melees have pretty good priority. We do pretty good priority damage. But yeah, the Bloodlord actually died before the Loto dudes. This boss, as tank, is like pretty chill. Just make sure you're baiting the frontals away from your party. Other than that, I mean, if you're a tank that has the ability to keep people alive, help out with that when they have the infestations. Make sure you pick up aggro on these web mages, and then, Paladin. So I just kind of keep throwing shields at them to make sure they never cast. This is the only part that gets a little hairy. Is you're going to want to sit, my group does, I sit on the right side of this circle, so all the frontals are baited on me. You'll notice if you're trying to be ethical and not put your frontals at your teammates, you're going to end up in these little swirlies every once in a while. They can hurt. There's no tank buster on this boss, so kind of use your defensives whenever you have to kind of step into one of those circles. You'll be pretty good. This boss fight's really all about just optimizing your damage output, because he's got quite a bit of health. We lusted on this one, but yeah, we're doing our thing. I've noticed after watching this recording, my teammates will actually run out when they get the infestation. I don't know if that's fully necessary. It's being ethical for the group, but like losing that downtime, probably not the best, because it's unlikely that the tornado is gonna like insta kill one of your teammates. Like, we all got our heads on a swivel. We're not gonna like just stand in it. So maybe try to move to a part of the boss that your teammates aren't at. If the Demon Hunter there, he could have just kind of just stayed in that spot. Perfect. See, it spawns a tornado. Nobody's standing in it. They move pretty slow at the beginning. They take a while to like form. So I would say for melees especially, just keep your uptime. Don't be standing directly on a teammate, but like, just, you don't gotta run out. I'm saying that. Ranged, if you're ranged, yeah, you can stay out. And then on this one, if you get the infestation where you're going to be dropping a little tornado, just maybe shift right a little bit closer to the tank so it doesn't go right on your teammates. And then we bring down a noob sect. That was damage there. 1.36 million, not my best showing. In the bottom right, I know I'm kind of saying as it, my thingy hovers over it, but or my tooltip, is that what it's called when you're hovering over people? All right, here, big changes in this area. So the Overseer has a kick. Just make sure you're kicking it. Or an interrupt. I always say kick, sorry. If you don't like that, whatever. It's pretty easy. Anybody can interrupt it. It's got a long cooldown, so just everyone can keep an eye on it. The drones here apply this dot, which you'll see I have. It's a healing reduction, a dot, and a slow. So it's a lot of things. And in season 1, or like the last season that this dungeon was in, the only way to remove it was with abilities. So like you could dwarf it off, or paladins could bubble, freedom, or tiger's lust, or all these other things, or some externals from like your healer and stuff could remove them. But now they've made it to where your healer can just dispel it off of you. So in routes, you'll see probably people pulling a lot more in this area because you can just take a bunch of those little drones and your tank is not in the danger they used to be. Which is really nice, because this used to be one of the hardest pulls to live as a tank. Some tanks could get around it. I know Paladin was particularly good at it with a high parry chance, so they have a chance to reduce the stacks they get by just parrying a lot. As well as we have bubble. You know, if you're playing dwarf, you can use dwarf, you can bubble. You can Hand of Freedom, all the slow off you and everything. So you had a lot of ways to remove it. Whereas like I played Brew this season. Brew wasn't bad because you had Tiger's Lust and you could always roll around, but just like the dot itself would hurt really bad. You can see here, I'm not using my defensive cooldowns like as effectively as I probably should in this dungeon. But it being a 10 is you know, it's not a super big threat to your tank yet. I mean, it depends on the kind of level of tanking you're at. Like, are you a new tank? Then yes, a 10 might be scary to you. But if you've tanked for a bit, you kind of know that the survivability aspect of tanking is something that will happen later than maybe some of the downfalls you'll find with DPS. So like a DPS at a 10, maybe that's when you start to feel like, oh crap, I got to use my defensives properly as a DPS. As a tank, I don't think dungeons really get scary. Not scary. They don't get threatening really at all until about the 13 to 14 range. Save for maybe a few pulls or bosses. But at a 10, I believe anybody who picks up tank, as long as you are, you know, awake, you can make it through 10s. And for a vast majority of the population of the game, 10 is kind of where you're going to stop. That's where you get your portals. You know, that's where you can get Keystone Master. You don't quite get to 3K, but you know, maybe that's a step afterwards. But I'd say 10 is like the first kind of first goal for a lot of people. So we're going to go up and actually go to the other side here to get more percent, because you can see we're missing some. I almost missed this jump. But back to what I was saying before. The harder thing about tanking early is kind of getting aggro and knowing routes and pacing. That's kind of the first thing. And then it's like learning to live as you get into hierarchies, and then as always, with every class, every spec in the game, it's like at the kind of end goal is like, once you know how to live, once you know how to hold aggro, once you know how to route all those things, then it's like just optimizing your damage to be doing as much as possible. And that goes for everything in the game. That goes for healers, DPS. DPS should probably learn how to do damage earlier than a tank should, but and by learn to, I mean you know how to do damage. I'm saying like really key in on like the survivability, the aggro, all those things are like, I'm not thinking about them much in a lot of these pulls. You kind of just, you go through the motions. And it's like, what my brain is focused in on is like getting kicks, which also leads to doing a lot of damage on Prot Paladin. So like, that's where my brain is kind of at, is like, yeah, interrupt these guys. Do I wings here? Do I use this? Should I do this? Blah, blah, blah. But like, survivability is kind of just like, use defensives. Now, on on bosses, there's sometimes that you really want to think about your defensive usage, but none of the bosses in this dungeon really hurt that bad. The first one I would say is the hardest. It's the only one with a tank buster. So here we have Kikatal, the Harvester. We have a lot of melees, so we're gonna have to just be careful with these poison clouds. I'm typically, I think, gonna just use my poison dispel on our healer. Also noted, only 3 people get the poison. I can't remember. It was everybody before, right? We are going to stay in on this singularity because we had bubble. As you can see, the Death Knight can just use Death's Advance to get out, and the Warrior stays in, and then just Heroic Leaps out last second. So really only our Demon Hunter and Shaman on most of these have to go and find one of these puddles to sit in so they don't get pulled into the singularity. I will too, just depending on if I have bubble up or something to live through it. You'll see here, I occasionally throw a little Avenger's Shield out to get some more puddles spawned. And then yeah, here I'm just... See, I went to dispel my Shaman with the poison spell. I'm like, wait, he doesn't have one. So yeah, maybe it must have been everyone got one before, and I just can't think. Here's something very unfortunate happened. So our Demon Hunter, he's kind of at the top of the screen there. He went to go out into a puddle, and then one of the waves came through and hit him. It happens sometimes on this boss fight, unfortunately. You only got one choice of puddle, you go to it, and then you notice coming from across the screen, there's a wave taking you out. His best play probably would have been to just nether walk, but you know, you can always think about things like that. As a paladin, you can use spell warding on a teammate to let him stay in during the singularity. Here I'm calling it because we just used Lust. I'm like, who's staying in? Who's staying in? And I got radio silence, so I was like, all right, nobody gets to stay in. And then I just, you know, did my normal thing afterwards. The Demon Hunter, he was like, yeah, I was in cooldowns. I'm like, well, you didn't say anything. And so on this next one, I'm going to spell ward him and let him stay in. Because he's the only one that actually kind of needs it of our DPS. Warrior can just leap out, and Death Knight is, you know, Death's Advance horse. But no, this fight is, and kind of always has been, it's just a marathon. Just do your thing, make sure you're getting out, make sure you have puddles ready. Just don't fall asleep, and you'll get through it. So you see I'm going to spell ward him, and then go out and I'll stand in the thing. I could have bubbled this one, but ain't no biggie. Take a look at our damage meters. Who's doing a lot? Fury Warrior is doing good damage this season, particularly on bosses. In big AoE pulls, it falls off, but Frost Death Knight as strong as it has been. The Demon Hunter, well, he died, so yeah, he'll be a little bit behind. Me? It's okay. Prot Paladin isn't known for its single target damage, so that's kind of where I'm going to fall off on a lot of these dungeons. AoE though, I mean, Prot Paladin's, it's not in last at AoE, that's for sure. It's definitely up there towards the top. Is when I couldn't find a puddle, so I'm like, hey, you know what, just bubble it. And just ran in and bubbled it. And then with about 2 minutes or so left on the clock, we're going to get this boss down, and that is going to be the first 10 timed of the season. First 10 attempted of the season as well. we get one other thing from this. Just so happened it was a kind of stacked thing. And we got Keystone Master off this dungeon too. So yeah, a solid dungeon run. Few mistakes, but in general, pretty good. There'll be more like these, more commentaries coming in the future when I get some dungeons recorded and we get some good ones. We'll hopefully get in some higher ones, and maybe we'll see me on some different classes and specs. I'll try to talk about different things each time. If you guys want, I can go through and do guides on each of the dungeons, but I feel like there's a lot of those out there, and let's be honest, a lot of you probably know them already, so I'm going to talk about maybe some things more particular to my class, or just funny scenarios that happen. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hope you had a great time, and we'll see you. Bye-bye.